Welcome to OOG, also known as Human Evolution 101. Okay? Some of you have seen these before. They're notes I used from last year, but they'll be a good refresher for everybody. So, we're going to start with this guy. I will give 1 Larson buck to anybody who can pronounce this properly on their first try. Who wants to? Hands up if you want to try it. Leaf, you have to get it perfectly on your first try. You ready? Okay. Oh, sorry, Leaf. Nope. I'm sorry, Leaf. No Larson buck for you. You freaked out. Nope, not quite. Here. Nope. Is there anybody new who wants to give it a try?
You did this last year, didn't you?
I did try it last year. Malachi, you want to try?
Are you going to do this every year?
Huh?
Are you going to do this every year?
Not every year.
Oh.
Why not? Because not every year gets boring. I need to change it up.
Like your memes.
Yes. Exactly like my memes. Okay. How it's pronounced is Australopithecus. Okay? It's not like Australia. There's no I in there. I don't know why everybody was reading I. Australopithecus. Australopithecus. Because Australopithecus. Australopithecus. Okay? So this guy was, let me get my notes up. The first ape to, where is it? I need a pen. Walk upright. To walk upright. Malachi, you gotta get out a pencil, bud.
I want a monkey.
You don't want a monkey.
Yeah, I do.
I promise you, you don't.
Wait, you have a monkey?
Huh?
You have a monkey?
I don't, but I have read more than enough horror stories of people getting them and not having a good time. Okay, so, any guesses?
The name is.
Harrell, keep your eyes up front. Leaf, I need you to drop it. You can tell me all about the fun pop culture stuff after the fact. Harrell. Okay. Benefits of walking upright. Who's got some guesses? What would these monkeys gain by, instead of walking on all fours, what would they gain by being able to stand up like this? What's some benefits? Kieran. You can, yes, you can move a bit faster. Yep, absolutely. What else? You could jump from all fours. Think, what are some benefits from going like this versus standing like this? Leaf.
You can reach higher things?
Yes, you can absolutely. Yeah, you could reach up to get things higher up. They were fairly accomplished climbers at this point, but you could reach things from the ground. Yep. Anything else? Jana? Yeah, I'd say you're less balanced standing up here. You're more likely to tip over. Carol?
They look bigger. Like
Yeah, you definitely look more threatening. You're definitely larger.
Yeah.
There's one specific one. It's that you can see more.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Now I remember.
You can see more, right? If you're wandering around in a bunch of tall grass and you're down here, you're not going to see anything. So you don't know if there's a lion over that hill. You're not going to see if there's a big critter over there. Hi, guys.
Did you do it?
Hey, relax.
I have one. Miss Larson, I might not be able to write. She did it on my left arm. I'm left-handed.
I think you'll be able to, buddy.
No.
Your arm will be a little sore, but I think you'll manage. And if not, this is getting recorded, so you'll be able to keep up.
Oh, you're recording. Last year, Miss Nathan's class, we did this big test, and we didn't even know any of it. We didn't get taught any of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
We just had to just guess.
Lyndon?
Just so us to guess, and almost everyone got it wrong.
That's the idea sometimes, is just to see how everyone knows. Because that way Miss Napton then knew, that way she knew that you didn't know that then, so she can teach you.
She didn't teach it at all.
Oh, well, I mean,
What?
there's one thing I'm better than Miss Napton at.
The rest, no. The rest, no.
Okay, so you could see more,
She doesn't play with toys.
and you could run faster.
What does that say? And she gave us candy. I most likely like the toys.
I give out cash money. Don't even.
That's fake.
Just those real, normal money's just plastic. It's all a construct in your brain anyway.
We want to play with toys.
Anybody who feels like... Okay. I will rewrite this, Spencer. Anybody who's feeling like they're rushed can hang out with Miss G. Okay.
It hurts so bad I screamed.
Maddie. Malachi, you're all filled in, buddy? Thank you. I'll give it a second so Miss Giesbrecht can get our notes down here. Is my writing too much for even you this time? No? Okay, good.
And I have to write this with hand from now on.
Whatever works for you, Daniel. Daniel, can you get out your notes, buddy?
I don't know where they are now.
Here, come get them. Here.
Wait, what?
Daniel, the more, there, perfect. Daniel, try your best to move it naturally, because if you let it sit like this, Daniel, I'm just saying, try your best, because if you let it sit like that, it's going to get stiffer and stiffer. Okay, are we good for slide number 2? Daniel, Miss Giesbrecht has it all written down at the back. Thanks, bud. Okay, this is Lucy. This is Lucy. I know, you might not be a Lucy you know. But this is a Lucy that they know. So she was the very first and one of the most complete. They had more pieces of her skeleton were discovered than ever before. And she was the first evidence of upright walking.
How is she the most evidence? Okay. But yeah, how?
And healed bones. I believe. She was one of the first one of healed bones. So on one of her legs, there's a fracture. You can see it right there.
Where? I see it.
It's a little tiny fracture. And that they're saying, lots of scientists are like, this is the first evidence of like actual human civilization, because they're saying if they were just still wild animals, there's no way her leg would have healed and she would have gotten better. She would have just died. But the fact that it healed up means there was somebody or something was taking care of her. Which is really quite cool.
So is the brown parts real bones?
So yeah, the brown parts here are the bones they actually found, and then all the white. But in comparison to everything they found before, like most, if you go out to a museum, almost every like dinosaur skeleton you see up there, maybe a quarter of that is actual stuff they found.
Oh.
Actually, finding a whole skeleton is like 1 in 100,000.
Have they done that before?
It's rare. It happens sometimes, but like so I mean, the chances are so minute of finding an entire piece. So they just build in all the pieces.
Or missing?
Yeah, exactly. So that you can kind of have an idea, right, of what she would actually look like. You can see how much, we can still see, yeah, how much longer her arms were than ours are, right? Those fingers and those feet still look fairly similar.
Her fingers are like
Really long. Leaf, save the stories for later.
yeah, that's a little.
Okay. So, we're gonna get there. So from these guys, Homo habilis to Homo erectus to Neanderthalis. So every single step here, they got less hairy and more upright. So every single step up, you saw less and less body hair, because right, Australopithecus was covered in body hair. They were an ape still, right? They had hair all everywhere. 1 second.
You are booking.
Yes, fill that in.
Do I have the outline? You okay? That's scary. Don't do that.
Get
God, that's not. Like what the? You already broke your water bottle.
Yep.
You broke your own bottle?
No, you don't have to.
Oh, it's still wet.
Okay, next slide. Back on track here again, folks. So, we start all the way down here.
Is that an actual skull?
That's an actual skull, yes.
That's pretty good.
That is a legitimate actual skull, and from 7 million years ago.
That's pretty good.
It is, that's an impressive find. Like, whoever found that got really, really lucky, because the Australopithecus is all the way, like, this is where Lucy is, up here. So you had to see Lucy was only like 4 million years old in comparison to this guy, who was like 7 million years old. I have a bunch of people asking questions and no hands going up. I need hands. Kieran. It's not very possible, buddy.
What if we did?
Where?
Well, what if they found a frozen? They're frozen in carbon.
They've found frozen, not like millions of years old, because by that point, right, you're so far down in the ice, you've gotten squashed into nothingness, right? But they found people from a couple thousand years ago frozen in the ice, yeah. Yeah, I'll try to find a picture for you. But you guys see that it goes this way, and then we go back over to humans again at this point. So, the fact that these guys here are all at the same spot, that means all of these guys all existed at the exact same time. So at 2 million years ago, there were these sorts of humans, these sorts of humans, these sorts of apes, these sorts of apes, and those sorts of apes, all existing in the same space at the same time. It's only when we got up to here.
Which ones are the monkeys?
The orange.
Basically, leave anything from here down is all more like an ape.
So those guys. Anything from the whale down.
Here. Here down.
So all the skulls are real except the human one.
I'll show you. There's a picture. Yep. There's a picture. So this is the actual picture. This was when I went to the Natural History Museum in London, and they have all these up on display. No, you're not allowed to touch it.
Are they real? Like no protection on it?
No, there is. There's glass. You can't get close to it. No.
That's some freaking clear glass. What if they fell?
They're all mounted. They're like hard mounted onto the wall.
Like an actual different skull? Like the Forsythian skull?
I believe they're either real or they're casts of the real thing.
Whether they could afford to have the real one.
I don't think so. I think anything real is actually. I don't think this was behind glass. I think this was just out. I think all the real ones were actually like in boxes or down in collections. Yeah. Yeah. Right. These like this guy down here, definitely not the real thing. They aren't leaving us. Yeah, they had much more pronounced. Lyndon. I'm hearing lots of neat discussion, and I'd love for that to be happening as a class rather than as individual conversations. Lyndon, thanks for jumping into 6 points right off the bat. Yes, most of them, like up until we got to like here, you would get lots of way more pronounced. It's called a brow ridge. So right, our heads weren't quite so upright. They would tilt backwards more, and your brow would stick out more. It was just made it more sturdy, right? They were used to taking a lot more knocks around. Dylan, what's up? Yeah, probably.
The one over here looks mad. Like the one like
So, couple more things here, folks. So, this right here, this is another Australopithecus. That's me. That's my hand. So, this was actually a type of human. They were a pygmy type, so they were only like this tall. Like a fully grown adult, one of these little duders was only this big. Well, not all of them. This was a different species of human. Like, this was a whole different species of person. There were no giant ones, sadly. Only.
Like no giants?
No giants. No giants. Yep. Right. This guy's. You guys can see in the picture, right? This guy's head was like the size of my head. I could have carried his whole head, and that was an adult.
That's an adult?
That's an adult head.
What the heck? Bro, I think let's just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they killed off the Loompas. Yeah.
Okay. So, the difference between the two. Pardon? Yeah, absolutely.
That way people
Good.
can find out.
Yeah, and this is all getting uploaded and recorded, etc., etc. Okay. So, we've got the different species here. This is kind of, as it got later on, we had different species of peoples. These were the two main ones. So, first up, these guys here. These were the Neanderthals. They lived in colder climates. So these were the guys who lived in like Europe and started out in North America.
What about Canada?
Yeah, we would have been in that sort of a space. Okay, these guys had very thick bones. Thick. So like our bones are pretty spindly. We're talking like big, thick, hard bones because they were built for like hunting large animals and taking things. So if a woolly rhino charges you and knocks you down, like their bones were built to handle that sort of impact. Ours are not, right? That's why their skulls you can see are so much, right? They have that bigger brow ridge. Everything's designed so that if it gets knocked around, it'll be okay. Okay, so they were super strong. You guys can see like this guy's upper body is way bigger. He's wider. He's thicker, right? He's got a lot more to him. He's designed to sprint after things, not run long distances. So his brain was designed for practicality.
What's that?
That just means, Leaf, just get your hand up and I'll get to you. Practicality just means his brain wasn't meant for creativity, his or her, whoever they might be. They weren't really thinking about like, oh, I wonder what this tree would look like if I held it like this. They were thinking of, what do I need to make this thing happen? Because they were living places where it was very harsh, very cold, so their brains weren't built to think of creative ways to do things. It was built to be like, I need to get this done and I'm going to do the simplest way possible. They didn't innovate quite the same ways that we do, right? So, and then we've got early humans. These guys are living in warm climates. So these guys are living in Africa and warm climates around the Mediterranean, okay? We are looking at long distance runners.
So they want the fast.
They were, because right where they lived, they weren't so much sprinting after big game. They were having to walk long ways to go get water and food, right? Because they were in deserts and really hot places. So they were walking and running places to get food, not so much chasing down large animals. Okay? And their brain was designed for creativity. Because if you're stuck in the middle of a desert, it doesn't really matter how practical you are. You've got lots of time to think. So they spent lots of time thinking about things, getting creative. Okay. Where?
Yeah, come on. No, like the ice, the human counting ice.
Oh yeah, I can look that up.
Show that monkey game. Turn back. I want to be monkey.
No. We'll do another set of notes and I'll include something like that.
Yes.
Gigantopithecus is actually a thing though. It's cool. Yes.
Next time we do this.
Social studies. That's where this is going.
If you do this with another class next year, make sure to say go back over the
Yes.
I don't know why. And say the great
What?
You were wearing a hat all day.
Oh. Okay, let's file that in social studies, folks, and I've got a Terra Firma craft assignment for you to work on.
And the guys who have
What, bathroom? Yes. If you wanna, it's up on my YouTube channel, so if you wanna do that and fill it in there, I would much appreciate it.
Can me and Maddie just take out a break?
Once I get the assignment out to you, then yes.
No, we're not doing this for a break. We're doing something
No,
else.
I'm not saying do that for the break. I just want to get it to your desk, and then yes. That's all. Daniel.
I don't want to do that.
I'm not saying do it. I'm saying you can do that. I'll put it on your desk so we don't lose it, and then you can go do your break. Okay? Let's go, folks. Stuff needs to go into social studies binder, please. Social studies binder.
I had to get my goats eventually.
Well, yeah, everybody does, Maddie.
I screamed.
It stings, but Maddie, I want you to try your best just to let it sit normally, okay? Just because, Maddie, if you let it sit like this too long, it'll do something called atrophy, where it'll get stuck, and it's going to be way harder to move it if you don't just try to let it relax a little bit, okay? Because the more you tense it, the more it's going to sting. It will get better, I promise, okay? Just try to let it move naturally if you can, okay?